Chapter 2 of The Hogwarts Chronicles Book 1. Dumbledore's Eyes by Ali Joe. Reunion.
It was July 25th. My deadline was fast approaching. In fact, it was due the next day. Mum and sister were shopping in Diagon Alley for a newly imported fabric. I had been in my room all morning and all afternoon, so I needed a change of scenery. I came down the stairs, and that is when I saw her. Her hair was long and golden, worn in a low ponytail. I don't know what it is about really long hair, perhaps because it's so rare. Regardless, her muggle light blue summer dress suited her well. She glanced at me as I stepped down from the stairs. There was no hint of recognition in her eyes. I have to admit, it hurt a little bit. She turned back and watched as people entered and exited the leaky cauldron from both the muggle and wizarding doors. I took a seat behind her and tried to finish my manuscript. Every now and then I stole a glance at her. A few times her blue eyes met mine. It had been 2 years since I'd last seen her. She withdrew a letter and a small velvet sack from her satchel. The sack bore in golden thread the crest of Hogwarts. So, she was starting her first year at Hogwarts. Could it really be true? A gorgeous witch, wearing black robes trimmed with maroon, approached her. Was this an older sister? She seemed to be too young to be her mother. After a few words, my acquaintance surrendered the red bag to the witch, who then exited into Diagon Alley. Hours passed. Fred and George Weasley ran into the leaky cauldron from the wizarding side. They chattered eagerly while carrying various purchases for the upcoming school year. I bet there was a few chicks or two in there. They were third years like me. However, I had been sorted into Slytherin, while they ended up in Gryffindor. I had tried to be friends with them both in our first and second years. They refused to give me the time of day, simply because I was Slytherin. Molly Weasley came in, holding Ginny's hand. Ginny was complaining she wanted to go to Hogwarts too. She was going to come to Hogwarts the next year. Percy entered the pub in all the air of a statesman. Ron looked rather put out. He was starting his first year, and he got second-hand items. I felt a little bit bad for him. Molly approached my blonde-haired friend. At least I hope her and my friendship could be renewed. After Molly Weasley talked to Tom, the Weasley family left the pub via the Flu Powder Network. More time passed as I finished my manuscript. The gorgeous witch had yet to return. With a heavy heart, I realized the truth. She must have so too, because she was focusing too hard at the top of the table. I moved my stuff to her table and sat next to her. Tears stained her cheeks. I lightly touched her shoulder. She's not coming back. She collapsed into me and began to sob. It was several minutes before she could collect herself. I didn't say a word. Truth be told, I had no idea what to say or do. I gave her a handkerchief my mom told me to always carry with me. Funnily enough, this wasn't the first time a handkerchief came in handy, nor would it be the last. She looked at me confused. "Dry your tears," I explained.
I see,
She replied as she wiped her face.
I'm sorry.
She said,
I didn't mean to cry all over you.
"Believe me, it is the least I could do," I assured her. I got up from the table and bowed. "I am Fitzwilliam Darcy." She laughed.
Like the guy from Pride and Prejudice.
"Oh, I see you are familiar with the Muggle author Jane Austen."
A bit.
She stood and curtsied.
A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Darcy. I am Mouse.
She looked at my face. It seemed as though she was searching to see if I believed her. Well, I already knew her name, so I had no reason to react. She seemed a little surprised, and also a little bit happy. "How much do you know about Hogwarts?" I inquired.
Only that they teach people magic. That is a guess because of the nature of the letter.
I nodded. That is a good place to start, I assured her. The school was founded hundreds and hundreds of years ago by 2 great witches and 2 great wizards. Each prized certain attributes above others, and thus the 4 houses were established.
Houses?
She asked. I couldn't help but notice the way she furrowed her brows was adorable. Each are like a family. People in your house are supposed to look out for you. Her eyes lit up.
Instant friends?
That is one way to look at it.
What is your house?
Slytherin. Our colors are green and silver, and our symbol is the snake. Members in my house are known for their ambitious nature.
And the others?
Hufflepuffs are known for their kindness. You can never have a better friend than a Hufflepuff. Their colors are yellow and black. Their symbol is the badger. Mouse nodded. Her look became wistful.
Kindness. That sounds lovely.
The way she said it tickled my curiosity. I filed it away to pursue later. I continued. Gryffindor is the house of the brave. Red and gold are their colors. The lion is their symbol.
I am definitely not brave.
Oh, I replied. Aren't you familiar with the Muggle story of the mouse and the lion?
How the lion spared the mouse and later the mouse rescued the lion.
I snapped my fingers. The very one. There is a wizarding world equivalent about a Kniezel and a dragon.
With the same moral of kindness never being wasted?
Close. Unkindness brings about indigestion. I grinned wickedly. Mouse laughed. Which brings us to the House Ravenclaw. They pride themselves on their cleverness. With colors blue and bronze, they sport the symbol of... Can you guess it? Mouse shot me a look that told me I couldn't fool her.
You want me to say Raven? You wouldn't have asked had you not expected that reply. Therefore, I won't hazard a guess.
I smiled. You begin to understand my character, I asked. She nodded. Very well. Their symbol is an eagle. A short silence fell between us.
How do they determine what house you get placed in?
She finally inquired. I leant in closer to her. You'll have to wait to see on your first day. It is absolutely brilliant.
But what if I don't like the house I get put into?
Her question brought back the feelings of 2 years of disappointed hopes for myself. I lightly placed my hand on her shoulder in an attempt to reassure her. I promise you that I will help you cross that bridge if that scenario occurs. She looked thoughtful for a moment. A shy grin graced her lips as she softly said,
I hope I am in Slytherin with you.
My heart leaped for joy. If we were in the same house, I would no longer be alone. The chances my sister would be sorted into Slytherin were next to none, so I entertained no hope of my loneliness being abated on that quarter. I returned the smile. I wouldn't mind that one bit, Mouse. I pushed a blank piece of parchment and my quill toward her. Remember that sentiment as I make you do something difficult. She eyed the materials.
What do you want me to do?
Write a letter to Deputy Headmistress McGonagall, explaining what happened. The look of abject terror revealed to me that was the last thing she wanted to do.